Hey everybody, DM Jim here, and welcome to a new episode of the Tabletop Engineer. This week we're going to continue on with the development of the Thunderhawk, this vehicle right here. This is a proxy vehicle. In Warhammer 40K, as I understand it, non-tournament rules allow you to put in vehicles and miniatures as proxies to represent something. So this is not, an official vehicle in any way, handmade. First thing I want to do is state I'm not trying to, steal any business from anyone. This is a one-off, just a duplicate of something I saw online. And if you want to check out this video right here, it will show you part one of how I got this far. This week, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start working on what's called the greeblies. The greeblies are the little details that you start putting on something like this to make it look more realistic. That can include armor, ports, raised surfaces and things. And the idea is that it just basically gives it, it doesn't look all smooth and flat. This does not look realistic. If I were to paint this just like it is, even with detailing the edging and stuff like that, it's still not going to look real because every surface is, pretty much flat. The wings have no details on them. I'm probably going to start on the tail, just sort of, feeling this out and seeing what level of detail I want. If I end up not liking it, this would be easier to pull off and replace than, say, any of the larger areas of the wings. So I'm going to start here, go slow, see what I can come up with, and then I'll start moving towards the front and the cockpit. Let's get to the tabletop and see what I can do. Okay, the good news about what I've done so far in making this is, I have got a lot of chipboard scraps, tons of scrap. And this is good because I'm going to be using scraps to create some of the details on the Thunderhawk. Now, this piece right here, this is the rear tail. And this little triangular piece right here, which I have a ruined one here that I cut out, this is the detail on the wing right here for the tail. So I'm going to use this detail and this detail to create some raised portions on the wing and the wing's tails. I'm going to do these out of chipboard, so whatever I cut on the left, I need to create a mirror of so that it's symmetrical. Now, the first thing that comes to my mind on this is, there's some interesting shapes here that I could cut out and trace onto chipboard or cut out with chipboard. Like this piece right here, I'm just going to go ahead and cut it out. And I have plenty of copies of this, so I can go print more of these out as I need them. If I find that I'm just cutting up my originals too much, not a big deal. Just go and print another template. So I think what I'm doing here, and again, I'm not gonna detail every little greebly that I create for the ship, but I'm just showing you my process. I look on here, I see what looks good, cut it out, trace it to some chipboard, glue it on. So as you watch this video, if you see something that you don't understand, just post a comment. I'll try to answer it. But I'm not going to provide commentary on everything I do like this. Instead, what I'm probably going to do is just set it on normal video mode and not time lapse. And then in the video editing, I'll double the speed. You won't lose any detail. It'll just be running a little faster. All right, so let's take this piece right here, and what I'll do is, I'm gonna cut this part out right here just to make it look a little more interesting. All right, cut that out. All right, this is going to be the piece that I make two of. So I need to make one like this, just two, and I'll glue them on as mirrored pieces. So I'm just going to trace this with a pen. That way I don't cut away my original template. And as long as I trace outside the border, I know that both pieces will be approximately the same. They don't have to be exact. I mean, if you're going for real precision, then yes, you would want to come up with a way to cut 2 of these to the exact same size. There's one. Let's see, can I cut a second one here? Wonder if I could. No, can't do that. All right, so I'll just cut a second one. Trace a second one, I mean. And I realize that this imprecision might bug some of you. You may be wanting to take measurements of all these sides and put it out, you know, precise, and that's fine. I think for what I'm doing here, it does not need to be that precise. Now, first thing I'm going to do is try and cut this with the scissors, just to do as few cuts as I can with the blade as possible. Cutting with the blade is, you know, is not as easy, obviously, as cutting with the scissors, but some things you have to cut with the blade, like inside these little spaces here, these gaps. All right, then I'll do the rest of these with the blade. All right, if I want to, I can put these next to each other like so, and just make sure they're somewhat similar. They're not too bad. There's a few little pieces that don't match up exactly. And then what I need to do is I need to look at the original here. So I'm gonna put this back in here. Now I could again measure this out to try to figure out exactly on the tail where it goes, but I think I can probably just figure it out. Let's see, it goes like so. Yep. So that's gonna go, you know, right about there. You can kind of tell that, yeah, maybe right about there. And then I can just use that one as the template to where I glue this matching one. I'm not going to hot glue chipboard to chipboard unless I have to. What I prefer is wood glue like this, because it just makes a much better bond with itself. When you use wood glue on chipboard, it just does so much better. And it dries pretty quick too. You'll be surprised how fast the chipboard dries. I mean, how fast the wood glue dries. All right, so there we go. There's one piece in. All right, and I'll flip it around. I need to make sure I get this matched up. It's going to go like so. And I need to trim that. That is not the right angle. There we go. All right. So it's going to glue on this side. And the reason I'm spreading it with my finger, if you didn't see it in the first video, is I want full coverage. I don't want any part of the chipboard lifting off or having a gap. So this will make sure that that it seals really, really well. And then this is going to go like so. No, yeah, is that right? Let's see. All right, I can look at it from the back and tell that it's level, pretty much identical. All right, and there we go. One chipboard greebly done on the tail. Now only about 5,000 more to go. I'm going to try something new here. I've never done this before, but I have this very thin green wire. I got this at the hobby store. They use it to stick in foam and wrap fake flowers around it. It's wire, so you can bend it and it keeps its shape. What I'm going to do here, I don't know if this is going to stick or not, but I want to apply, this could look like conduit, or, you know, if you ever look at the surface of some mechanical devices, and I think airplanes, you'll see, you know, tubes or metal conduit running over the surface. And so I'm hoping this will simulate it. And what's neat about it is you can make nice 90-degree angles with it to do interesting things like that. We'll see. I have honestly no idea if the glue is going to hold this down properly, but I want to try and do some interesting things with it here. After I think the glue is dried, I could get a brush and maybe brush some glue over it to hold it. I definitely can't clip these ends off until I have made sure it's nice and secure. Well, I didn't really have a good place to stop. I'm still working on the greeblies and adding armor and stuff. I just did as much as I could this week before having to call a hard stop so I could get part 2 up. Here it is so far. I'm really happy with how the armor is looking. This thing's going to look great when it's painted. I just started on the cockpit. I haven't sealed the sides, so you can see it's a work in progress there. This coming week, what I'm going to be doing is working on developing the 2 engines for the side wings and the gun on top and maybe some of the other weapons, in addition to finishing up the armor on the back here, the rear. I'm done with the tail. I'm very happy with how the tail turned out. And the front is actually looking really good. I need to do up here. I can't do the top here until I finish the cockpit. Yeah, it's looking pretty cool. You may also notice there is a gap in the wing right here. So I glued a 2-ply of wing on, and then I cut another single piece of chipboard. And inside there, I don't know if you can actually see it. Inside there, if you review the video, you'll see I glued some foam that's 1/4 inch high, and it just created a standard sort of gap for both sides. I glued, and also it gave me a way to hot glue the wing on parallel to the ground. And then once that hot glue was good and firm, I put glue on the end and squeezed them together to get that V, the V of the wing there. I didn't do that on the front ones or the back ones, but the side ones needed to be a little beefier, in my opinion. Now what I'm doing is I'm going a little off the reservation. I've taken this as far as I could to sort of mimic the original one, and now I'm just doing things that I think look interesting. I've added some granny grading in various places, and of course my engines and my gun will look a little different than the original, but the basic shape is there, and I'm just going to keep plowing forward, and I hope you're enjoying this series. I'm hoping to finish it up and prime and paint it in the 3rd video, but if not, it will be a 4-part video, which will probably be a record for me, I think. But we'll see. Next week, my kids are out of school for 3 days, so I may not get a whole lot done. We'll see. But my goal is to have it done in 4 videos or less. So I'm going to stop here. I'll take some more video pictures of it, put it at the end of the video. But if you have any questions or comments, please post them below, and I'll take a look at them and try to respond. That's all I have for you this week. Please come over to the Tabletop Engineer Facebook page and join so you can participate in some of the conversations we have. And sometimes I post extra stuff. I haven't been very good at doing the live events lately on Wednesdays. I'm going to try to get back to that. But I've just been very, very busy with a new job and trying to get this bad boy done. Also, Bexham's Bazaar Magazine, issue number 11 will be out on November 1st. If you are a subscriber, thank you very much for supporting the magazine. If you are not a subscriber, I'm going to put information on it below. It's a gaming magazine that I created. I have contributors that contribute. I write for it. And it's just dedicated to RPGs, wargaming, and random stuff. Issue number 11, I can't believe it's been almost a whole year that I've been doing this magazine, and I just appreciate all of you who back the magazine and subscribe it. But if you're also buying it from DriveThruRPG, thank you very much. I understand some people don't like to use Patreon, so you can go to DriveThruRPG and get each issue for $3 there. If you subscribe through Patreon, it's $2 an issue. That's all I have, actually. So I'm going to get back to this thing and try to get it to where I can get it primed at least before the end of the next video. I'd like to get it painted and done because I think a 4-part project's a little too much, but no promises. All right, that's all I have. I will see you next week with part 3 of the Gunship. Take care.